Cody Bellinger finally breaks out of his big slump, and Jameson Taillon continues to carry this staff as the Chicago Cubs salvage one in Tampa. We talk about it next.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making Locked On Cubs your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Let us know in the comment section. What do you think of the Cubs lineup right now? Cubs defeat the Rays 9-4 Thursday to salvage the series this week. 70 games in already as the Northsiders improve to 37-33 on the campaign. Cubs had won 5 of their last 6 games prior to the Rays series, then got a bit of a rude awakening in the first 2 games in St. Pete against a team that, of course, has been so consistent for so many years. Sam, it was nice to see the Cubs get back on it with the decisive win before returning to Wrigley this weekend.
Yeah, and it was, it was really fun because, it's 2 small market teams doing battle, and Tampa, obviously, they don't have the money the Cubs do, but they act like they don't. So you watch those 2 teams play a 3-game set. Cubs lost 2 out of 3, but I'll tell you this, Matthew. A lot of what we said before the season, Jameson Taillon continues to win, already his 8th win of the season.
Right.
Bellinger with a predictably slow start to this campaign because he started spring training much later than everybody else. He gets a big 2-run double here to break things open. Cubs are 4 games over 500. If he can get hot, if he can have a similar July and August like he did last year, maybe this team takes off and gets out of the jumble that is the NL Central.
Right.
Bullpen did their job today, but for me, the top story is and has been Jameson Taillon. A lot of people, including myself, gave that contract a lot of flack when it happened. Year 1 was a complete and utter nightmare. And then he comes out and he started this season, and he's been arguably the best pitcher on this staff.
Yeah, 6 innings for the 3rd straight start. It'd be one thing if it was just a one-off or 2 in a row, but to do that 3 times in a row, like you said, 8 W's to his name already is really impressive. And a 9-4 victory, the bullpen was able to get a rest before a much important series this weekend. So Alzolay was in the gym shoes, Merriweather, Neris, Smiley. It was nice to see Yency Almonte go the 7th and the 8th. And then Luke Little was able to shut the door there in the bottom of the 9th, up 5 runs. And they were able to get the bats going against Ryan Pepio, who was part of that Glasnow trade last winter. Great sign to get 3 runs in the top of the 1st, 2 in the top of the 2nd, and then 3 more in the top of the 5th to knock Pepio out of the game. And then they got a run later in the game as well for their 9. And we'll get to more about the lineup later in this episode, but it was Nico Hoerner, Sam, 3 for 5 with 2 doubles and 5 ribbies that was able to really, in during Bellinger's struggles, Hoerner has really stepped up.
What did you think? That was a good recap. I mean, I watched the game. What do you think? Middle innings, Nico Hoerner's coming up for the 4th time.
Right.
And, go ahead. You could speak.
No, I'm listening. Yeah.
Oh, and in a big spot, and Boog was talking about his shoes, and then he was talking about Yandy Diaz's shoes.
Well, yeah, that was a little excessive.
And then all of a sudden, once the Cubs did get the breathing room, I basically just felt like I was getting a Tampa tour guide instead of watching a big league ball game because I mean, how about in the 8th inning when he just told JD his 5 favorite places to visit in Tampa, like he was on some sort of
I
script.
mean, it wasn't even that long of a trip. They were in Cincinnati before this.
Right.
So really, I mean, sometimes you feel like they're running into a wall broadcast wise, but I just feel like, maybe they just had some antsiness about being on the road. But I mean, kind of the same old with them. 550 first pitch 3 nights in a row. I will say I really enjoyed that. But Horner has really stepped up. I mean, dare I say that he's putting together an all-star campaign.
Yeah, I mean, look, Nico, the second base position is so competitive. But I definitely think that he's having an all-star caliber year. And by the way, is talented enough to have an all-star caliber year every year. A little bit concerned at Dansby's bat projection.
He got up to that nice start again.
That nice
that
start,
has really trailed it off. Yeah.
All of a sudden it feels like he hasn't hit a home run,
like in a month.
Since like George H.W. was in
Bush,
office,
right.
or in the late 60s when Nixon took over, or something like that.
Right.
This team, it was a nice win. It was a nice win.
Right.
4 games over, right where they're
against
supposed
a
to
good
be.
team.
But can I say something?
Yeah.
Is this team fun are you having fun right now? Is this team fun to watch?
Well, I would say over these last few series, it's really pivoted into that. Yeah.
And you're not concerned that Michael Busch's OPS is in the high 6s?
Well, I'm concerned about that. I think that, right now, well, again, we'll get this to the next segment, but, him in between Horner and Swanson, I think is an interesting sandwich to be in. But I think his power has really, been able to suppress some of those other underlying stats. I mean, right now he's got 10 home runs. We weren't sure what he was projected to do. We questioned some of that, especially as spring training approached. I remember back in about, mid to late February, we were really, previewing players, and we were curious about that. But I think the last,
what a dark time that February was, huh?
The last I try not to remember it. Yeah. The last 6 to 10 games, I would say I'm not only having a good time watching this team, but now with this team where they're at, only 1 game behind St. Louis, as you said earlier, a flooded NL Central, with the Reds only a couple games behind the Cubs. Obviously, it looks like the Brewers, have trailed off. The Pirates are just not ready yet. So it's good to see now these last 6 to 10 ball games, what they're stepping it up.
And I just want to say just real quick, and again, nice win, excited to talk about what's ahead. When Ian Happ lost that ball in the catwalk lights in the 3rd inning, I just want to say this: if he wins another Gold Glove, a 3rd consecutive one this year, I'm going to write you a check with a 4-digit number. Okay?
Really, $1,000?
Yeah, no, it's getting a little bit ridiculous.
I know, we were confused last year when he won it again.
Yeah, and I just don't seem to see it.
Right.
But I'll tell you one thing before we get to the lineup stuff, and this is a good segue.
Mastro made a nice play at 3rd, though.
Well, he's a friend of the show.
Yes.
He's a friend of the show, and he made a nice pick over there, robbing a Rosarena.
That's his old team.
Right? Rosarena's on the Rays, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Counsell, through all the ups and downs of this early campaign, has really been a steadying force. He just seems so relaxed. And I'm excited to watch him manage and to see this atmosphere in the middle of June for the Cubs Cardinals. And by the way, and we'll get to this in a minute, you and I will be at that Saturday game, June 15th, for our friend Nick's bachelor party.
That's right. That's a big weekend coming up. It's there's a lot of good things happening right now.
And hope I have a little bit better luck with my stomach than I did at your bachelor party.
That's right, last November, and you know, we were so thankful for the Counsell move, and shoot, every time they cut to him, I get more and more excited.
Well, and
That's a
he's
real manager in our dugout.
and it's no coincidence that Seiya Suzuki has an 851 OPS, and Counsell's
Right.
been ejected twice and almost a third time today because he's protecting the strike zone.
Wow, that's a big difference from prior seasons.
He's projecting his players. Even today,
Wow, that's a great point.
It was a 3-1.
I forgot about that part of the game.
It was a 3-1 pitch to Seiya. Ball was 6 inches off the plate. Suzuki ended up walking on the next pitch. And all you could hear it. You could hear it on the marquee audio. Pitch is way off. You're hurting his approach. He's grinding his at-bats out there. Call the game right.
No, I love that. I love that fire.
You know, as opposed to our last skipper that just
right. Well,
just chewed seeds.
Coming up next, we're going to get into what Counsell has done with the lineup. What we've wanted for so long is happening before our eyes, including Ian Happ being in that leadoff position. Let's talk about it next. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your car alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle. Level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one car, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your car alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. We're back here on Locked On Cubs, and the lineup on Thursday: Happ, Suzuki, Bellinger, Horner, Bush, Swanson, Morel, Mastro, and Gomes. Sam, this is a lineup that you could say we dreamed about. And here we are in the middle of June, and it's really happening. It just gives me a lot of confidence. I think you're muted.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
We're not. Are we posting anything for the lineup?
No, I don't have a graphic right now.
Okay, well, I have it in front of me.
Yeah.
I mean, Happ, Suzuki is you use the word dream. I think that's not exactly what I have bigger aspirations, but
right.
Happ, Suzuki, Bellinger, Horner, Bush, Swanson, Morel, Mastro, Gomes is it's deep, it's consistent.
Mhm.
It needs somebody out of that group to blossom into a star, a shiny, bright star. You know what I mean? Happ, nice player. Seiya, nice player. Belly, up in the air right now. Nico, nice, solid player. Bush, we're still seeing the ups and downs of young Michael Bush. Dansby's a nice player. Morel's you need somebody to graduate from nice and turn into, oh, shoot. It's a 3-run game. We're up, but there's 2 on, and you know who's up. We're in big trouble now.
Right.
We need a little bit more fear. It's a solid across the board. It's a lineup that I've said at numerous times, and almost to the point of nausea in the offseason, where I've said it has a very high floor but we're looking to raise the ceiling. Or as Michael Jordan would say, the ceiling is the roof. And he ended up having a nice run in this city. So
Suzuki had a couple hard hit balls again this series, but they were for outs.
And on the ground again.
Right.
So remember we went through that fiasco last year.
Right.
And I just want to say,
Go Cubs.
This season, one of the things that I've really tried to get away
Yeah,
from,
70 games in. What
and
have
I
you
kn
what have you learned about or
and I know
try to
I
get away
fit well,
from?
because before the season, I said this to you privately, right around, I think, early March. I said,
Yeah, early
Matt, one of the
March.
things I don't want to do is text you during the game and go, oh, that was unlucky. That ball was hit 105 miles an hour.
Oh,
Because
I know.
Boog loves doing that. Hey, crush that ball, 107 off the bat.
Right, right.
This is a game where you get paid to hit it where the defenders aren't.
Right.
And, it just seems like we've fallen in that trap again where it's, hey, squaring the ball up. No luck, no luck.
Right.
So I'm trying to get away from that. I'm trying to look at results.
Yeah, and I think to that point about Suzuki, what we're maybe concerned about Bellinger, I do have confidence that he's going to start rebounding, and we're seeing that two strike approach come back. We're seeing him get into deep counts. We're seeing him take pitches, and I was encouraged in his first at bat, especially against the Rays on Thursday, being able to get to 3-2, fouling a couple pitches off, and then an RBI single, to a flare to left center, hit him where they ain't, as you're saying. And yeah, I hope someone does graduate from pretty good to more star like. And of course, this week, Sam, the trendy thing, the chatter around the Cubs right now, Owen Casey getting a lot of reps in Des Moines. If Michael Busch continues to struggle, if Christopher Morel, continues to strike out a lot, does Casey get a shot at first base? Does he take some at bats at the DH spot? That's going to be interesting to keep track as the summer moves along as well.
Yeah, and I did think it was one small victory I did take away from this big victory at
Right.
Tropicana Field was that we typically get more views on our live episodes than there were fans in the stadium. And
I know it's quiet there.
yeah, well, there's a lot of you hear the cowbells when Pepio got to 2 strikes on people, but you didn't see a whole lot of that today because he really struggled
He really did. Couldn't
in
even make it
this
out of the fifth.
in this baseball game. So
Yeah.
nice win. And really, what you call this win?
What?
It's a life quality win because
Okay.
you now go into a series with a win under your belt and the biggest series of the season up to this point.
And let's talk about that series next. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Earlier this week, the Boston Celtics were NBA champions. And wow, what a celebration they had. What a series that was.
And I still can't believe it.
Celtics Nuggets, unbelievable series. You were able to do a quick bet, a live same game parlay, an exclusive prop, and more. And so much baseball right now. It's every day. It's a companion sport. Get in on the action. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and step up to the plate with FanDuel. FanDuel, the official partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. Cubs and Cardinals. One game separates these teams right now here in the middle of June. And this weekend, Sam, it's going to be Imanaga and Lynn, Hendricks and Liberatore, and Wicks and Gray. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all 1:20 starts. What matchup are you looking forward to there?
Well, I'm excited for Saturday's ball game because we're going to be in attendance in honor of our friend Nick.
Yeah, the bleacher seats, by the way.
Bleacher tickets.
Right.
Big series. Would be very disappointed if the Cubs were not at the very least tied for first place after the series. The pitchers that you mentioned for St. Louis do not make me lose much sleep. Gray obviously being the toughest on Sunday, but Wrigley should be rocking. It's the first big midsummer series of the year.
Yeah.
Everybody's off school. People are excited. I mean, there's nothing like mid-June at Wrigley Field.
Exactly.
Cubbies are still alive, 40,000+ people,
Yeah.
the sun's shining. And I'll tell you this, here's what I expect. And I'll be back in 30 seconds. Here's what I expect.
Well, and I could almost imagine that series, you might say. Imanaga got roughed up a little bit his last start against the Reds, but I think this is a good bounce back opportunity for him. I'm excited to see Hendricks against the rival team on Saturday. We'll be there, Sam said. And then the young pitcher against the vet on Sunday, Wicks and Gray. And Sam just returned with his broom. That's a high expectation.
Sweet,
series
dude.
is the goal, but I love it.
No,
I would love to post our Monday episode, and that's the image right there.
we're sweeping these guys, and I'm tired.
I hope so.
I'm tired of the Cardinals Saturday light blue jerseys.
Oh, I know, especially in the summertime.
I want to sweep these guys, and come Monday morning when everybody listens, Monday, what'll be June 17th.
Right.
I want the Chicago Cubs to have a 2-game lead, and I don't want to look back.
Absolutely. This could really be the driver series that puts the Cubs in that right position. And
This could be one of the best weekends of my life.
yeah, how many people are we expecting on Saturday in the bleachers?
I think about 14.
14. That's going to be so much fun to celebrate Nick.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go out afterwards, and you know me.
Hopefully sluggers, man.
Yeah, and maybe a little casino. And
Oh boy,
you know me, I don't usually do well if the Cubs get beat.
that's correct. And Miguel Amaya, Sam, I wanted to point out, he's really become the personal catcher for Hendricks. So we're going to see him behind the dish on Saturday. And I think he might DH Friday against Lance Lynn as well. He might be my pick to click. It's going to be a gusty Friday afternoon. I think they knock Lynn out of this game maybe in the 4th or 5th.
Well, and I've seen Miguel Amaya hit a home run already in 2023 against KC. So maybe Saturday I'll see number 2 against that soft-tossing Libertor.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm
All right,
surprised he's even in the rotation.
All right. Well, hopefully that surprised me too.
Yeah, he's
hopefully we're back here on Monday, at least with the series win. A sweep would be absolutely incredible. Man, it's been so much fun doing this show this season. 70 games in already. And I think this team, despite rough start to this week, has really turned that corner, 37-33. And I look forward to the weekend, and we'll see you Saturday in Wrigley, Sam.
Yeah, I'm going to see you on Saturday. Maybe I'll come back for Monday's show a little color being out melting there in the bleachers.
You look like you did even back in the off season around Valentine's Day.
Well, yeah, and I'm there's a reason why I have a podcast and not a TV show. So go Cubs, and let's take this division and never look back. And maybe Boog will talk about the game.
Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. You give us 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, smash the like button for the algorithm, and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Well, dreams, they feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something was actually strange.